the biggest piece of the puzzle was that Neil was an old time gangster, through and through, and he followed the rules. So his, and you can see not only from the blog, everywhere it's written about him in these conversations that they picked up on wiretaps. When he's speaking, he's speaking true Cosa Nostra, saying the boss is the boss. So he's showing what his character is about, right? And that is the reason why they were kept calm and they were keeping their cool in this situation. And I mean they, meaning the whole John Gotti crew, because Neil was keeping them in check. When Neil passes away, it said, oh, well, they felt it was a slight that Paul didn't go. Paul had a case. He didn't want to. He's the boss. He didn't want to put himself out there and go to the wake. That had nothing to do with it. There's so many bosses that would have never went. They had a case. There's bosses that don't have cases that don't go to wakes. That had nothing to do with it. But they felt like that was a slap in the face. It's bullshit. Neil was holding the dogs back, so to speak, right? When he passes away, not only what did they lose? They lost their rabbi, right? They don't have Neil now. You're talking about the number 2 guy, right?
Yes.
The position should have been his, that he should have been the boss. But that just goes to show you, once again, his character. He accepted it, right? He accepted that Carlo Gambino put his family member in that position and bypassed a guy like himself that deserved it. So when they lose Neil, they know, meaning John Gotti knows, he has to act immediately, because now the person who was their rabbi and who was advocating for them is now dead. So they had no choice, in all honesty, but to make the move they did. They had no choice, because have they not made that move, Tom, what happens? Angelo's getting killed right away. That's right off the bat. He's going, and then who else is next? You got to worry about Jeannie getting killed. You got to worry about Johnny Kinney getting killed, and everybody else. You got to worry now the associates getting killed, and they may wipe them out. Then they're gonna disband that crew, and Johnny Gotti, if he does not get killed, is going to be knocked down to a soldier, which, and that's they had no choice. But the reason why I say Quack Quack gets Paulie killed, right, is because it's the point of ignition, and that was the start of all of these things that came after that, right? Look what happened. All of these things come after that. The only reason they don't come to fruition is because they take him out. They have no choice. It's self-preservation for the whole crew.
So okay, so we'll move forward with the hit, right? So the hit happens. We're on the 35th anniversary, whatever the numbers work, and it obviously changes American history, changes U.S. history, mob history, New York history. I mean, every single facet, right? So let's kind of fast forward a little bit how the Lucchese's got involved. So who got hit in retribution? Because something like this doesn't go unanswered. And then where did it kind of because I want to get back into your wheelhouse in terms of the Lucchese's and where you guys fit in. So I understand there's obviously that was not going to go unanswered, and there was a serious hit not too long after.
You had Frankie DiGiorgio that mistakenly was killed because they thought that it was John Gotti walking back out of the club to the car. Wow. They, from the distance, they thought it was John, and John was the target. It was not Frankie DiGiorgio. And obviously, once again, I'm not speaking firsthand. I just heard things and what I read and what I know. But it was Chin who was making the who put the hit on John. You know, he wanted retaliation for an unsanctioned hit against a sitting boss, and he got obviously gas pipe was involved in that, Vic, and that, you know, the Lucchese Brigada was involved in helping to get rid of John, so that Frankie DeCicco gets blown up by accident.
Wow. So mistaken idea. And it was on 86th Street in the middle of friggin'
In the middle of the daytime, yeah. And you know, you hear from Sammy the Boss podcast, or he's told this story numerous times, that, you know, they went over to the car and tried to pull this guy out. This guy was blown, you know, there was nothing really left of him, his insides. He was blown up bad. And then you have Eddie Leno, right? Eddie Leno gets hit on the service road